Aroro, 6 hours strong into this conversation. And
yes, sir.
And now where we are.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You're still dropping more albums. We're about to talk.
Oh, yes.
About the
Simplified.
Yes.
So Bruce Odhiambo, Bruce had such interesting ideas, and I don't know how he thought about the hymns. And he's like, why don't you create these songs of hymns that our parents used to listen to and sing at church? So me and Kanjii, we jumped onto the idea, and we recorded the entire album in February of 2012. Went to Bruce's studio. In 3 hours.
In fact,
we finished it.
I have the first video recording.
Oh yeah, the one in the studio.
Yeah,
that was 2012, and that's before that gig I was telling you about, all that jazz that was packed. Because that was, but then we never released the album.
Oh my, cha kutumaini sina ila damu yake Bwana, sina wema wa kutosha dhambi zangu kuziosha, kwake Yesu nasimama, ndiye mwamba ni salama, ndiye mwamba ni salama, ndiye mwamba ni salama, njia yangu iwe ndefu, yeye hunipa wokovu, mawimbi yakinipiga, nguvu zake ndiyo nanga, kwake Yesu nasimama, ndiye mwamba ni salama, ndiye mwamba ni salama, ndiye mwamba ni salama, damu yake na sadaka nategemea daima, yote chini ya kisha Mwokozi atanidosha, kwake Yesu nasimama, ndiye mwamba ni salama, ndiye mwamba ni salama, ndiye mwamba ni salama, nikiitwa hukumuni, rohoni nina amani, nikivikwa haki yake sina.
Up till now, September of 2013. So it had always been in the. We just put it out there. What I did is that I needed to re-edit the piano because I didn't like how the piano sounded. So not too long later, I asked for the sessions and then redid the piano. So the piano you hear was not the original one that I played. So I had to redo the piano. But anyway, piano and voice. The idea.
Is that your phone? Oh, okay.
So piano and voice happens in 2013 because now there's
it's one of the best gigs I've
ever
attended.
Yeah. That was such a fun gig. And even what the concept for me and Kanjii was, do you know Nairobi doesn't have those open free gigs where you can walk into a place and see guys performing? I've seen that in New York at the Central Park. You just go, there's a stage, guys are playing, just sit and watch music. So that was the concept. We're like, let's do a gig for having fun, won't charge you. Come and listen to some music.
We'll sing what we want.
We'll sing what we want. In fact, the fact that we're not charging you, we'll do what we want. So there's no even pressure to feel. And so we did the first one in September of 2013. Of course, at that time, that's when the attack at Westgate had happened, and so we had to also tailor it to that mood. And it ended up being such a fun gig.
Yep.
Because we were doing songs that we love, and covering them and doing whatever we wanted. And then I'd never done a duo gig with anyone. That was the first time I did a duo gig.
Just you and
a pianist. No drums, no nothing. Just it.
What?
That's the first time. I'd never done a gig like that ever before. Never. And that's what appealed to me at that time.
This one's gonna kill you, for sure. Guaranteed. Kama ni mapenzi. You see why I want the songs to be mine, yeah? Because I've never like started a song and guys go, woo! I am under the rock. All right. Wait, what's the key? I've lost the key. Kama ni mapenzi ya kuniudhi kila saa na kunifanya mikulia, kama uridhiki, mbona hujasema ili niweze rekebisha? Ilifaa ni mambo shwari nikiamini ukwangu na kukusifu kwa wazazi, kujali tena hisia zangu. Sijui tunapokwenda, lakini najua tunapotoka. Kutoka sitoki, nimetekwa nyara. You even know the BGV parts. This is a problem. Okay, let's I don't even know where we were. Kutoka sitoki, nimetekwa nyara. Kukwacha siwezi, kibarua ngumu. Shindwa nini nitafanya uridhike? Nimetekwa ndani mtandao wa mapenzi. Basi nakuomba uniteke tu bila mateso. Tazama, siwezi songa mbele, kurudi nyuma sijielewe. Haya mapenzi ya fujo hayafai. Kama wanipenda, jaribu kunipara. Haya mapenzi ya fujo hayafai. Kama wanipenda, jaribu kunipara. This is my best part. Arun, let's move to another song.
But you and Kanjii, let me say, you had some, you have some crazy chemistry.
Oh yeah.
You complete each other's statements.
Oh yeah.
You know?
It's like ESP, extra sensory perception. We just know where we're gonna go. When he sings, if he comes here and sings, I'll just know where. If I play, he'll know where.
Yep.
If I play, he'll know what to do. It just happened. It's just one of those partnerships that just works well.
Yeah.
You know, because I've played with many artists, but with him, I don't have pressure.
Plan, yeah.
I'm like, I know anything can happen. You know, of course there are moments where we have to really rehearse, especially if we're looking for something specific. But that's what happens with Kanjii.
So this little song is dedicated to some of you out there who have wondered, with all the stuff that I've done in my life, can God accept me? Can God just take me the way I am? So Aaron and I, we wrote this song specifically for you. Alright? And you can just close your eyes and just sing along, because God accepts you just the way you are. Can I come, Lord, as I am? In my weakness, help me understand that you love me. For me, that you hear me when I call. just as I am, in my weakness. Help me understand, Lord, that you love me. For me, that you hear me when I call. So can I come, Lord, just as I am? It's in my weakness that I need you to help me understand that you love me. For me, that you hear me when I call.
And so we did that, and then TPF came back calling. And then now we had the producers for TPF of 2010, which was fun, and they were changing it. And then Eric was coming in as the musical director. So it was, I was like, woohoo! So not only are you getting
that's the TPF for Amos and Josh.
Yes. So we're like, we're not only getting a good salary, but it's a fun gig.
Yeah.
That's why I like that gig. Like, it's fun. It's like 3 months of so much fun. It's a lot of work, but you're always looking forward to the next day. It's such a fun gig. Let me say that TPF has that's one of my funnest gigs I've ever done, because it's fulfilling in all fronts. Because many times you can have a gig that pays, but it's not fun.
Yep.
Or you can have a gig that's fun, but that doesn't pay well.
Yeah.
But this one, it covers everything.
Nice.
So there's TPF that's going on. So the rehearsals have started. And that's when now Joy Mudhengi is coming in as the host. And so me and Kanjii now start doing these gigs for
Piano and voice.
For piano and voice. I've put a pause on all that jazz, and then also I'm restructuring myself. I'm looking for something, because that had been 3 years now with David Makuyu. I was thinking and then I was also starting to have misgivings about the scene. And it was not then, but I was like, okay. So after TPF, then in one of the piano and voice shows, I don't know if it was concurrent with Project Fame or before, just before this, and it was the second piano and voice, which was, I think, the funnest of all of them. Because the first one is when we launched this CD, and then the second one,
I live streamed this first one.
Yeah. The second one was now when we had Kidum, we had Webby, when we were doing all those R&B songs that I grew up listening to.
Yeah.
But remember, if there's footage, that's when Mr. Kolimo announced the Safaricom Jazz Festival.
Yes, that's true. That's
right
true.
there.
That was then.
That's when he announced.
Hold on, you didn't know about that?
No. So remember when after the gig, because even I think there's footage.
Yeah, there's footage, yes.
We called him on stage. I had no clue. Because he had been to the first one, and then now he comes to the second one. So me, and even look at the reaction of me and Kanjii. You see the when he announced.
And at this time, Kanjii was working with Safaricom for
absolutely for live, the Safaricom live.
Yes, that's even why Kidum came.
Frasha
came even.
Frasha came. Yeah. That's why Giuliani was there.
Yes.
I think even he performed in that gig.
Who Giuliani?
Giuliani, yeah.
He did.
So when we called him on stage to just because we're
thank him, you're in his house.
Thank you, in his house. So that's when he comes and announces, in January we're going to have the first Safaricom Jazz Festival. If you go and check out our expressions, whoa.
One of the first decisions. I can play like him. So one of the first decisions I made when I became the CEO is actually to buy this piano. And tonight, Mr. Aaron Rimbui made me regret that decision. No, seriously. You know, I have a secret dream that one day when my board is on holiday, I will turn this place into the Blue Note. Now, there are many people who say that Kenyans don't like jazz. Now, Rita, can you stand up for a second? So Rita and I have been having this conversation because we think that Nairobi deserves a jazz festival. So now we're going to put ourselves on the spot. Don't get excited. It's not for free. I don't know why these guys are encouraging you to come for free gigs. We will commit to do before next March, we will do an international jazz festival. And I have to say, the inspiration, actually standing on the stage, I thought you were sitting, you're so short, that only came from the short people.
My wife is just going like, boo.
So seriously, you know, this is the second time we've had piano and voice. There's some improvement because the last time Aaron made him hire the suit, and at least this time it fits. So that's good news. You know, I don't know why Bruce. I don't know why Bruce is laughing so much. Bruce, you cost me so much money today. You owe me. But seriously, I think when I heard Aaron and Kanjii play the last time, it convinced us that there is a market for it. And tonight, you know, they absolutely convinced us. And I want to say thanks a lot to Atemi. I want to say thanks a lot to Chris, over there somewhere. Mbugua is madly in love with you. I don't know why. She goes red. Giuliani, is Giuliani still here? Where is he? Is he going to do it here? Yes, the former potential vice president says he's cracking jokes at the front. Does anybody notice that he has more Facebook followers?
Whoa!
He says, and this guy is, I'm going to probably be doing something.
Yeah, so because he liked the show and by the way, that show had such interesting, because actually that show, I think the president was supposed to come.
Yep.
And the first lady, but things just whatever. But ended, that's when I saw the power of the government.
Yep.
Because I know how gigs, and then now when you showed up, during before and after, I was getting phone calls from everybody. Security, I'm like, wow. But it was such it was so moving for us that that you have such a guest showing up on a gig.
Even remember the front row seats, no one was allowed there, the first 2 rows.
You remember?
Yeah.
You remember when we were taken to a different place upstairs? It was a whole other thing. But and of course that's when now Bob announces about Safaricom Jazz Festival.
Yo, I can't believe you didn't know.
I didn't know. He had always thought, in my conversations with him, he had always had an idea of like, I really want to start a festival. So it was always in his mind. Mm-hmm. And I think he had attended a gig for a, I think he's a Dutch pianist from where? Austria? I don't know. There's an artist who had been hosted at the Michael Joseph Center. And I think that's when he said, I'm going to do it. Mm. So he says in his mind, that's when he decided. After he saw that guy, I'm gonna do this festival. And of course, he had been to All That Jazz, a couple of the All That Jazz, and he was so curious because he would ask all these questions and whatever. And so now at that gig, that's when he announces. That's when he made it public.
That's crazy.
And even some of the guys at Safaricom were surprised.
Yep.
Because they're like, whoa, okay. Mm-hmm. And so that's when now I was tapped to be the musical director for the first Safaricom Jazz Festival.
And what did it mean to be the music director for that?
To curate it, get all the artists who's gonna play, make sure that they are just organized, just make sure that the festival is, curating means like, how is this festival going to look?
So the program flow, which musicians, including the guys from abroad?
Yes.
Yo.
So I gave them like, look for these guys, then like, look for the agent. So that's what I was doing. And then I was also hired to play. I was one of the artists to play. So it ended up being such a good time, because now we've finished TPF and I'm going now straight to doing the Safaricom Jazz Festival. Like work-wise, it was such a great thing. I was at TPF, so I was feeling like I was at my peak. Like, this is how, in my mind, like, if life can go on like this for a while, because I'm doing what I love to do and it's paying me.
And you're on radio as well?
I'm not in debt. I'm like, everything is fine. I'm now starting to think, okay, now how can I start investing in other things? And so we did Safaricom Jazz Festival in January of 2014. And I'm a radio. Radio is still going on. And in fact, that's why it ended up being so good, because now I'm bringing these artists. And now all those guys who are bashing me, they're like, I was like, eat that. I'm the one who has access to all these guys. So you guys want to come for this show? Anyway, so. But those guys bashed me. Hey, I was bashed. But anyway, so we had the Safaricom Jazz Festival, the first one, which ended up Richard Bonner.
So Richard Bonner came because you're the one who insisted.
Yeah.
And those are guys who I always used to remember you talk. Richard Bonner, that guy, Jonathan Butler. In fact,
absolutely.
You would even
the
see,
list.
Yes, why you're musicians.
Even after I stopped being the MD, the list is what I gave them. Those are the lists. I wrote them. I told them, get these guys.
Yo.
Because when I was giving them a report of the gig, I'm like, yeah, you should consider getting these guys. So Richard Bonner, because they tried to get, I can't remember, there's an artist they're trying to get, and he's a legit artist. Like, no. So they were trying to get, I think, KDG. But the reason why I was hesitant, I'm like, for the first one, get an African artist. I'm like, because remember I was telling you, Africa is my thing. I'm like, we can't start the first Safaricom Jazz Festival in Africa. It makes sense to get an African icon. Make it an African thing. Now you can start hiring. After this, we can go look for anyone else we want. Yeah. So that's why after a while, they're like, okay, let's get Richard Bonner. I was so excited. When they called me like, okay, I will get Richard Bonner. I was like, yes! I was like, absolutely. Now, in fact, I even sent a message to Bob, like, I think when I told him 2 thumbs up, and he was the right guy to open the festival, to start the festival, because I don't know if you were there, but he completely brought the place down. I think there's some footage somewhere. He was the right person. But, because I was the musical director, I get parks. I'm working at Capital FM. They need to do interviews. And so I become his chaperone. Nairobi that's the day I was like, thank you, Lord Nairobi, for traffic jam.
Because you get to spend time.
In the car. That's when we started having conversations. I spent like a good couple of hours with him in the car, because we go to Capital FM. Now you have to wait before the interview. So I had a good amount of time with him. And I'll come and tell you how this thing works out so well. Then we had a jam session on one of the Fridays. I think it was the Friday before the gig, and he really liked my playing. He really dug my playing, and I was so honored. Like, Richard Bonner,
these are the guys you used to listen to.
I was like, wow, I'm like, my God, Richard Bonner. Like, so during the sound check for his band, because now the sound check for his band was early in the morning on the day of the festival on Sunday. Now on Saturday, all the other guys had done their sound check. So I was like, we can't do all the sound checks. So like, and then he's tired. Like, let's give him Saturday just to relax. He doesn't have to do his sound checks on Saturday, but his was Sunday morning. So I got there very early in the morning, and I have to say that myself, Jacob Basio, Chris Bitok. I'm like, I got like this first one, let's get the guys, you know, people even for me are like who I've grown up playing with. I'm like, let's, you know, and then of course there's all these other musicians who came from Belgium, you know, Israel, Yuval Cohen. The Cohens are such a huge jazz family in Israel/the US. So it was such a big deal. And then, so I go for the sound check. And I'm listening. So for 2 hours, I was like, I'm telling, I think Alex of Gig Dynamics, I'm like, I'm watching a free gig. Because they took 2 hours and they fleshed out their stuff. I saw even they played other songs that they didn't play in the gig. So I was like, I've just watched a free with very few people. I was there right there by the soundbox just watching them. I was like, my goodness, I'm like, wow. I even switched off my phone. I'm like, I have
need
to
to be
soak this thing.
moment. Yeah.
I'm like, these are moments you can't be on the phone, you can't do anything.
Yep, no distraction, it's for you.
So after they finished the sound check, I noticed that they needed some changes with the setup. So that's when I went on stage and they made sure that everything is fine. So now Richard Bonner introduces me to the pianist. Now his pianist is wicked. That's the right word to use. He's so cold, not even bad. He's so cold. He's like ice. His name is Etienne Stajut.
Yeah. Meaning he's good. Just
yeah. Hey. So Richard says like this. He introduces me to him, and he tells him like, then his point is like, this guy, that's me. This guy is really bad. He's telling Etienne, like, this guy is really bad. He's a bad pianist. So Etienne's like, really? Like, this guy knows how to play his stuff. In my mind, I'm like, wow, what a compliment. I'm like, wow, this guy, listened to him. I started listening to him in 1999. I grew up listening to, he's the Richard Bonner, man. This is the artist who I'm aping myself to be like.
Yep.
Who's made a mark in the US. He's got this music that is improvised, but yet it's such good music. Yep. So why would he say that about me? And I didn't play a lot during the jam session. I just played a couple of solos, but I noticed that he was wanting me to play more. So I was like, wow. I'm like, hey, I told him thanks. Then he tells me, then he pushes me aside. He tells me, let me give you a story.
No way.
Yeah, he tells me, he pushes me aside. He tells me, let me give you a story. He's like, what are your plans? I'm like, I'm just figuring out what to do. He's like, let me give you a story. Of course, I'm from Cameroon.
Yes.
I moved to France to see just to look for gigs, and I migrated to France to make a living. And one day I start playing with this artist called Mike Stan. Mike Stan is like bad guitar player. Like he's like a legend. Played with Miles Davis in the 80s. So Mike Stan listens to me and he's like, whoa, who is this bass player who can sing and play like this? So after the gig, like he's telling me, I could barely even speak English. So he tells me, because Cameroon, he's the French side of Cameroon. Yep. So he's like, so Mike Stan tells me, you know the advice I can give you? Move to New York. That's the only thing I can tell you.
No way.
So I'm giving you the exact same advice. I think you need to move to New York.
Aroro, no way.
I think New York is gonna grow you up, and it's gonna challenge you, but you need to get yourself to New York.
No, this is where that seed was planted.
Absolutely.
It's
Richard Bonner.
No way.
Yep.